Okay, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Uh, today, I haven't even shown you anything yet. Okay, today I'm gonna present to you a game I've been working on for the last year, 1.5 years, depending on how you count. A little pet art project of mine called Clash of Melodies. It's a visual novel rhythm game, or at least that's what I call it. And I can already feel some of you guys' attention slip. Visual novel, rhythm game, kind of niche things, and narrative driven games kind of have a bad reputation among gamers, but perhaps it's more interesting than you may think right now. So, first of all, what is it? It has a visual novel part that is one part fully animated cutscenes, and the other part character sprites with text. Pretty standard visual novel style. And the rhythm gameplay, two kinds of gameplay styles. One really fairly straightforward part, that's a DDR style arrow rhythm game, and the other one something a little more original and a little more complicated, but we'll get into that. Alright, why a game? Why, if you want to tell a story, you make a game and not just, a comic or a visual novel straight up, or make a pitch for a TV show or something like that? Why does it have to be playable? Well, I've noticed something about the modern condition, and that's that everyone is constantly bombarded with images. And as a result, it's actually fairly difficult to get people to pay attention to something, to really pay attention to something. Especially since marketers are constantly trying to vie for your attention. It's a valuable resource to them. So I'm thinking once you actually buy into it and play the game, you have to quite literally vibe with the game in order to experience the story. So that's my thinking. How well it works? Well, we'll find out. It's still a bit experimental, but that's the idea, basically. Okay, where did the idea come from? The idea didn't come from nowhere. Some time ago, like 3 years or something, there actually was a popular Newgrounds game, and I know Newgrounds is still around, I'm surprised too, called Friday Night Funkin', which was basically the same DDR style of Newgrounds characters doing little rap battles against each other. It wasn't anything special, but it was very popular, and it's basically a playable Newgrounds cartoon. That's the appeal of it. And I thought this is very interesting because while Friday Night Funkin' uses this to basically be, as I said, a playable Newgrounds cartoon and a shitpost you can play, basically, I thought it would be a good idea to, or there's potential here to use this to for storytelling in general, not just for haha funny. And the second thing I found appealing about it is the concept of facing off against all kinds of zany characters one after another. I thought this concept has a lot of potential as well. So my process, I work in Godot, mostly because I'm not a programmer. Godot has a proprietary scripting language called GDScript, which is like Python, but even easier. It's basically programming for dummies, which is convenient because I'm a dummy. It was very easy to pick up. Like once I learned the API, it was smooth sailing from there, basically. And I can show you now a little bit about what I've cooked up. A demo. Let's start here. Let's start with the visual novel parts. An animated cutscene at first. It's not the start of the narrative, but, just so you get the vibe.
Hello, are you for hire?
Why, yes, I am. My name's Rondo. Rondo the Great, and I'm... Hey, you're the local cleric's brat, aren't you?
I am indeed the daughter of the nearest priest. My name's Carol. You see, I'm on a personal quest and need some additional travel protection.
Ah, you chose me for my dashing looks and imposing stature. Of course.
I'm asking you because you look inconspicuous.
Right, so here we have the story menu. It's little preview images. The story cutscenes, the text cutscenes look like this.
All right. First, you'll need a weapon to protect us.
Awesome. You have a sword? Missy, that's a loot.
But it can be much more than that with a little magic of mine.
All right, you're a cleric like your father, huh? So how's this gonna work?
It's simple, really. First off, repeat after me.
And then we get into a stage. I'll just show off a little bit, don't worry.
Ready, set, go!
Just so you get the concept. And if you miss, it's basically like this. Yeah. Just the little health bar down there. Okay, so that's the basic concept. Can show you a different, oh, that's not what I meant to do. Can show you a different vibe as well. Stage with a different vibe would be this, where it's a little more adversarial. It's mostly fighting, usually. This was just the introduction.
Ready, set, go!
Okay, yeah. So you get the idea, basically. Then there's a different gameplay style as well that's a little more complicated and a little more original,
Ready, set, go!
where you basically have to catch the notes with the circle here. You have to fill the energy bar on the side, which fills when you hit a note and depletes when you miss a note. Yeah, so okay, that's the basic concept. I can show you a little bit about how I'm doing this. Godot is very modular, which means you can just make a stage and then plug it into the system. The game basically consists of these stages right here, the stages and scripts. The little cutscene folder here with the cutscenes and scripts. And the menus. I have a menu folder here somewhere. Yeah, here. And it basically you just make it and plug it in, and it's very modular and very convenient, especially if you have a bit of a chaotic workflow. Yeah, that's basically it. And Godot is also, what's nice about Godot is that it's basically an art program, or it's set up like an art program with all the nodes here that are the different objects in the game. Aside from the stages, the cutscenes, and the menus, I also have a bunch of global scripts, the game that holds a bunch of global variables if I need, to store information in between the scenes, conductor that's responsible for handling the logic of the songs, basically, the songs and the charts, a global audio script that can just procedurally spawn in sound effects and music if I want to have music between the scenes, and sound effects if I want to have a sound effect that I don't want to be a specific object within a stage, just to have a procedural spawner. It's always prefs is a bit of a legacy thing where I wanted to have different options you can select. The kinds of options I wanted to be able to select at first. I didn't want to be selectable after all, but because the logic was interconnected already, I just left it in. The options you do have are in safe now, and you have a JSON handler script that can read the JSON charts basically. It has all the information for the different songs. Alright, let's get back to the presentation. I have to click my way through again. Alright, next. Okay, what's the meaning of the story? What am I doing here? What's the purpose of all of this, right? So the thing about a story and artworks in general is that you can communicate something you can't really put into words, like explicitly. That's the advantage of it. So it would be kind of dumb of me to try to put it into words explicitly right now, but to show that I'm not just making things up and that there's actually a point to this. The meaning of Clash of Melodies is the same meaning as these stories, which on the surface may not have much in common, but I'll just say, if you know, you know. And if you don't, play my game. Okay. Now for the release schedule, I'm fairly far into the demo. I actually am planning to release the demo this weekend, depending on if my music guy, because I'm doing all the programming and the art myself, but I have one guy who does the music because I'm really not a musician. And it's good to have somebody to work with. It depends on whether or not he finishes one more song, or when he finishes one more song. He tries to finish it this weekend, but I don't know. And then I'm planning to release it in 3 different chapters, basically, so I actually have funding for the game, because right now I'm making chapter 1 basically on nothing, on my savings, on my own time. Yeah, marketing will be done once the demo is out. I'm planning to make a Steam page and accumulate wish lists, and then hopefully maybe a publisher, I don't know yet, but yeah, my focus right now was to finish the demo first. The different chapters will be like episodes in a show, where each chapter has a beginning, middle, and end of a story, but there's also an overarching story between the 3 chapters. And that is basically it. Thank you. Any questions?
Can we have the first slide again?
The first slide. This one.
Yeah.
Anything else? Yes?
How long does it take you to animate one of these cutscenes?
I mean, depends. The cutscene I just showed you didn't have that much movement, so took 2-3 weeks. The other cutscene has a lot more movement. That took a bit longer. Yeah, I mean, it really just depends on how I'm vibing, really.
And how many, do you have any fixed number, how many cutscenes there are per chapter?
Well, because chapter 1 has no funding, I am planning on having 1 animated cutscene at the well, 2 more animated cutscene in total, and then some of, you know how in the text cutscene I show you an image phased in. I'm planning, instead of having animated cutscenes in every place where I want them, have drawings that basically communicate what's happening in a more sophisticated way. But yeah, 2 more animated cutscenes for chapter 1, basically. Yeah? You were asking
sure.
something?
A cool concept, first of all. And the second thing is, because it's a big topic for me at the moment with all the AI voiceover
Mm-hmm.
shit and so on. Are you working with voice actors? Do you know people that, because the voices were pretty good?
The guy is voiced by a friend of mine. All the little extras are also voiced by friends of mine. And for the girl, I got a professional voice actor.
Okay.
She was originally also voiced by a friend of mine, the one who does the singing voice. But she thought she's not that great of a voice actress, and told me I should probably get a professional for the project proper. So there was a proof of concept before that I made that had her voice in it, but she didn't like it, so I thought, if she doesn't like it, I'll just hire some. But if you make a cool project, voice actors are willing to work for a pretty low price, so that's nice. Yeah. Yeah?
Have you considered or tried generating the cutscenes?
Do you mean with AI?
Yes.
Well, the thing with AI, I have thought about if AI can be useful for what I'm trying to do, but the problem is always consistent aesthetics. Keeping the aesthetics consistent without doing everything manually. It's very difficult, even if you work with other people. Hold on, I can show you something right here. Really quick, main menu. Here, so the internet's pseudonyms of me and the guy I'm working with. I also have friends that occasionally help with stuff, like with backgrounds and little things like that. And even then, it's difficult to keep the aesthetics coherent. Yeah. So AI, I haven't really found a use for it. All right. Yeah.
How do you deal with difficulty in terms of the rhythm game part? Because the thing with rhythm games is there's a very stark contrast between like musical oriented people and people who really struggle with that kind of rhythm stuff.
I found that out last week when I was exhibiting the game at PopCon, where I got a bunch of playtesters. As a result, I can show you this too. There's the normal mode for the story, which is going to be reasonably difficult for people who don't play rhythm games, and laughably easy for people who play rhythm games. And then I already had something called focused mode, where you can play the stages without distractions for high score, but I now converted them to a hard mode that are significantly more difficult and basically for rhythm game people to have fun. And they basically just have, instead of all the animations, they have a little pencil drawing as the background and no distractions, and then information in numbers down there. So that's how I deal with difficulty now that I am aware of it, because at first I didn't think of that at all. Yeah. Anything else? All right. Thank you.